Awesome. Right. Let's, of course, you must always keep all your usual kit around and about. Morning classes. Morning classes, doesn't matter who you are, they always start with a feeling of crunchiness. So, just standing nice and tall. Feet softly under the hips or a little wider if you prefer. And let's just, you can center yourself and find your gazing point. Keep it a soft gazing point. And just start to roll back and forward on your feet. Most people, I feel like, because we do this a lot, just start doing it when they come to the mat, much like the breathing. So just start to fidget around a little bit. Keep your body soft. So even if you are feeling really tired, as I am as well today, and I was saying I'm a little anxious today. So there's a kind of a fizz in my belly that I'm not enjoying. So I'm having to work quite hard to keep it soft. So you can still do that and do a little bit of side to side. So I'm just waving my body around and seeing if I can find a fluidity in my body to give my focus somewhere else to go. The breath can sort itself out. So just rolling some circles. Eyes can be closed for all of this if you want to. You can keep them open if you prefer. So it's really important when we work on sort of balancing techniques and things like that is to remember that standing on 2 feet is also balancing. It's a very clever thing your body does, being able to just hold you on 2 feet. Feet aren't that big, are they? So your ability to move around on your feet without face planting continuously is a sign of balance. So let's broaden our definition. Lovely. So if it's possible, start to come towards a center point. You can take your time and let your movement soften towards that center point, feeling reasonably balanced on your feet. If you sort of come towards stillness and you can feel that your weight is shifting back or forward, I can feel my weight is shifting back into my heels, just see if you can slightly push your feet, push your weight around so you feel a little bit more balanced. Hands can hang down by the sides for a moment. Lift up through the heart a little bit. Build quite a strong artificial Tadasana. So chest is lifting, tail is drawing back, crown of the head is lifting towards the ceiling, shoulders are drawing back and down, hands are down by the sides, palms are forward, and really make it quite a artificial posture, like really strengthening up into it, pressing into the feet, tail pulling back, heart lifting forward. You think about looking ridiculous if you were standing in a queue at Sainsbury's and people would think that you were off your head. From here, just start to relax that posture into something a touch more natural, but still yoga-y. Relax the belly a little bit, relax the chest a little bit, relax the tail a little bit. Let's bring the hands to the heart. We'll have a few rounds of breath synchronized movements. If you need to roll your hips around and fidget on your feet, that is completely fine. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, take the arms out wide. Reach as much as you feel like you need to today. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. That's the pattern. Go at your own pace. Deep breath in. Exhale, wide. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart. Own pace. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale wide. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale wide. Inhale up. And exhale to the heart. Let's bring the hands all the way down by the side and we'll come towards some movements that we haven't done for a while. So we're just going to start by inhaling to float the arms up, lengthen up. Feel the weight pressing down into the feet. And then exhale, float the arms forward and down. attention in the feet here. Try not to tense up your hips. Try not to tense up your back. Just be heavy into your feet. Inhaling up. Continual movement. Exhaling down. Try not to fling your arms up and fling your arms down, because that's going to make all your body systems a little sluggish. So if you can try and keep this movement continuous, like a floating up and a floating down, it gives your body a chance to shift the weight with the center of gravity. You don't notice it because it all happens in microseconds, but microseconds are a huge length of time for your body. We're going to introduce a heel lift for those who would like it. If you're looking at me on the screen, you might need to put your vision, your eye line on something static. So inhale, lift the heels slowly. Try not to fling yourself up. It won't help. Exhale, come down with control. So yesterday I mentioned that controlled movements are a really good way of building ambient strength. They are harder, but you can do less and build more strength. So controlled movements. It's all right if you topple. Lifting the heels, come up as high as you can. Exhale, low down. Lovely, one more. Inhale up. And exhale down. Lovely. Keep the hands down, pick up your right leg, draw some circles with your right hip. You can hold on to the leg if you want. You can just let your hands dangle. You can have your hands on your hips. Draw some good circles. Building, actually when we do this, we're building mobility in the moving leg and strength in the standing leg. Go back the other way when you've had a few, and then just switch sides. So there's no need to wait. Different people's hips fatigue at different rates. But you do want to feel some sense of having done something in that hip without going into pain. Wobbly. That's normally wobbly on the other side. Today I'm wobbly on the right side. It's quite unusual for me. Lovely. Okay. Make sure you've had enough circles on each side, and then shake out the legs a little bit, just so there's a feeling of evenness. And then let's do some ankle circles. So pick up your foot a little lower this time, and just, doesn't matter which side you start on, have some ankle circles, but please don't make them floppy and loose. I want you to be able to feel your ankle as you move your foot around. Of course, if you start to feel too tired, you can sit on the floor and do all of this work. So we're not trying to get tired or work hard here. Just want to do intentional movement. No flinging. Switch sides. As I say, even with something seemingly as small as ankle movements, you're better off doing one or two slowly. It's surprisingly tiring on the ankles than doing 45 of them in a floppy way, unless psychologically that's what you need. In both directions. Notice how clicky your ankles are feeling. Lovely. Little shake out. Let's take the legs a little bit wider, point the toes out. So you can keep as much softness in your knees as you need to, and you can shift your weight from side to side as we do this work. It doesn't have to be really rigid in the lower body. Let's keep the softness there. And we will just softly take the arms up. We're just going to do some side bends. So it's a mini star shape. And as you exhale over to the right, reach over. Don't swing the hips hugely because we want the back to be safe, but allow them to rock to the side a little as you reach, if they want to. And then over to the other side, always exhaling into your bend. Oh, I feel a bit like Lizzie Webb, and I don't think I like it. Just feel the stretch in the hips, the waist. Try not to hunch forward or tip back. Finishing on your next stretch to the left. Don't worry, we were going to do plenty of everything. And then shuffle the legs out just a little bit wider, maybe an inch. Take the arms out. A little bit of pendulum, but we're going to keep the knees soft as we roll from side to side. So as you inhale, take your left hand up and over to your right, and then bend the knees and scoop your way down. We're warming the hips, so you do need to scoop down. Sweep both arms across, right arm comes up back to T. 3 on each side. I want to keep this little softness here. I want you to feel your lower back stretching. I want you to feel your hips warming up. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. When you've done 3 on one side, go back the other way. So it'll be right hand over towards the left. Get that good, reach forward. Floaty. You can see we're warming towards a little prayer squat. This is my last one. Make sure you finish your complete final round or your third round, and then come back up to center. Bring your fingertips together at center when you have finished. Actually, no, let's stack the arms. So like a little your 2 arms stacked in front of you, your Cossack arms, or genie arms is probably better. Top arm goes out to the side, twist from the waist. Look to the side, but not all the way back behind you. Inhale to center. Other arm goes out. Try to not let your whole body, your front arm, rotate. So this is very much about shoulders, probably more about shoulders than about wrists. Belly can pull in a little if you wish, but you don't have to. We're not moving the hips. We're not really moving the chest or the legs. We're just taking the shoulders back. 1 more on each side. Ideally finishing on the side you started on, but it doesn't matter if not. Release the arms. Have some, when you finish your next round, and have some loose shoulder rolls. Loose, but not necessarily deeply floppy, just a little wiggle of whatever you need. Let's take the heels behind the toes. So now the outer edges of your feet are lined up with the mat. I'm going to inhale, circle the arms up. And as you exhale, pull your belly in and hinge forward from the hips. And we're just going to pause halfway down for 1 breath. And as you exhale, go the rest of the way to wherever you get to for your wide, medium leg forward fold. If once you're down here, you want to go wider, you can shuffle your feet out. But the purpose is just to get a stretch into the thighs and the backs of the legs. So it doesn't really matter how deep you go, as long as your legs are feeling stretched. So have a couple more breaths here. If you'd rather be in a half lift, that's also fine. You can have your hands on your thighs. You can be up high, as long as you're getting a stretch into the legs. Deep breath. So when we're ready, if you need to bend your knees, you can do that. Bring your heels in. If you're going to do that, just walk your hands forward so you are sort of in a slightly straddled forward half lift position. Left hand on the floor nearer the center and the right hand draws up. Let's have a little twist. You don't have to go very deep. You can have your hand on your hip. And on your next exhale, bring the hand down. We'll have another one. Inhale, left arm up, twist. And exhale down. Let's bring the heels in, the toes point out, soften the knees as you inhale to reach up. We'll come into star. Make your star not too wide. So don't come into a very massive star pose. I'm going to exhale to sit into a light squat. High squat, very light. Inhale, come up to star. And if you can, as you exhale, bend your right knee and see if you can just lift your left leg for a beat. I find this quite hard, so be prepared to wobble. Come back to center, to your squat, and try over to the other side. I'm actually having to use the wall for this because this is quite hard. Bend into your squat. Try 1 more on each side. You can have your hands on your hips if your arms are getting tired. Pick up. You can keep your toe on the floor if your balance is really wobbly. Switch sides. Pick up and come back to center. Lovely. Inhale, arms go up. Take the arms, the feet back facing forward. Elbows can stay soft. Turn your right toes towards the right, left toes forward. Arms come back down to T shape and just gently reach into a light triangle. So right arm over to the right. Bring your right hand down to the inside of your thigh or shin at the height at the lowest. Take your left arm up. So we're not coming to the floor. I'd rather you stay very high for this one. Gazing up to the ceiling if you can, stretch. Inhale back to center. Relax your arms, have a wiggle. Switch legs. Left foot to the left, right foot forward. Not too far apart. Arms wide. Extend the left hand over the left foot and then release it. Keep high, either inner thigh or shin. I'm going inner thigh. Stay up very high, reaching your right hand up towards the ceiling, gazing up, feeling really tall. Lovely. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release. Bring your feet back in. Have a swing. Just want to keep softness in the body. A little wiggle. Find your gazing point, any gazing point. I'm going to turn to the side because I find it a little easier than gazing at the, I can see everybody on the screen, so it sort of throws me off. We're going to start with standing start. So you can just work along with me and remember the feet don't actually have to leave the ground. Everything that we do, your floating leg, the toes can stay down and the hands can always be on the hips if your arms are tired. So make sure your base feels stable, find your gazing point and just chill, she says, the one who woke up with anxiety. So shift your weight into your right leg. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips, so I don't want to keep it too fancy, but you can raise your arms up by your ears if you wish. And then just lift your left knee. At most, in line with the hip, you could just have the knee bent and the toe on the floor. Soft. You can just very lightly contract your stomach so that you can feel that it's there. So we're not firmly pulling in, but I just want you to be able to feel that your center of gravity is there in your belly. So make it work as you wish to. From here, you can, if you wish, take your leg out to the side so the hip is opening out to the left. You can hold onto the leg if it's easier. I find it a little harder to hold onto the leg. I'd rather sort of use one arm or just let it float there. And of course you can have your toe on the floor if that helps, but try not to tip into your hips when you do that. Have a breath. You can come back to center and then release the foot to the floor. And just let your hips even out again. You just don't want to tire out either of your hips. We'll do the other side. So we're going to pick up into modified staff pose. It's a not staff pose, staff. A variation on staff pose with the leg bent. So knee lifts, at most in line with the hip. You can always keep your standing legs soft, so you don't need to lock the knee or stand up perfectly straight. Try and keep your heart lifted. And then if you can, take the leg out to the side. Remember, toe can be on the floor, it doesn't matter. Just have a little breathe. It's really good for your glutes, this one. Come back to center and put your foot down and have a little shake out. Swing out, just balancing light. So let's do those two. We're not going to hold them for as long. We're going to put in a version of Warrior 3, and you'll have options with your hands. So hands to hips, shift weight into a right foot, lift the left knee, keep it bent. Take the leg out to the side, just breathe naturally. When you're ready, bring the leg back to center. Easier to have your hands on your hips at this point. And then if you can, sweep the leg back. It doesn't matter how far you go. You can go all the way to a T shape, or you can just tip forward a little bit. But what we want is a long line from heel to shoulder in this posture. And then come back to center. Knee comes back up into your staff. Switch sides. with control, shift your weight into the left foot. Staff, out to the side, back center. Modified warrior 3, it's not really modified, it's just not as deep. And then back to staff. Can you do that at your own pace on each side again? And I don't mind if your pattern's right or perfect or your breathing's right, but I just want you to be able to float through at your own pace, a couple of seconds on each side, and see if you can do it without putting your foot on the floor. It doesn't matter if you have to put your foot on the floor. And if you want to do arms, you can take them up. You can just be creative with your arms. So it's up, out to the side, back to center, back, staff. When you've finished, come back to Tadasana, rest it out, have a little swing. So let's come back into a slightly wide position because I just want to stretch out the hips each time we do any of this. So let's just a soft side lunge. So hands on, no, let's do hands to heart. And all we're going to do, heels in, toes out, is reach from side to side. And I don't mind how far you go with this one. It's not warrior 2. We're just wanting to work into the hips. So if you'd rather do hip circles, you can do that instead if it's hard on your knees. Any kind of wiggle for the hips, that's all. Hip circles. Lovely. In fact, probably everybody needs a little bit of hip circling because who doesn't always need a little hip circling? I want to add on to the balancing flow that we just did. So hopefully you've managed to feel your way into a light version. We will add in tree pose. Put in dancer as well. So we'll just finish this balancing flow here and then we'll come down and do some more feet on the floor stuff. Hopefully it feels not too heavy going. And if it does feel heavy going, do your work with your feet on the ground. So let's talk it through. And if you want to follow the arms, this is what I'm doing with my arms now that I've got my feet right. I'm going up, my arms follow my legs. So shift weight into right foot, lift the arms up and lift the left knee. Take the arms wide and take the knee out to the side. Lift the arms up for staff pose. Sweep the arms back for airplane pose, warrior 3. And then the arms come up for staff. If you want to just practice that again without worrying about falling, just practice it on the other side. Left foot, arms up, staff. Arms wide, out to the side, Krishna. Arms up for staff, arms back for leg back. So those are arms. You can keep your arms still if it's too much of a faff. Lovely. We're going to add in dancer and tree. You don't have to first because you know where all these postures go and you can also just stick with what we're doing. So a little bit of focus. Find your gazing point. Don't strop about anything. Inhale, circle the arms up. Keep the breath nice and long. Shift the weight to the right foot. Lift the left knee into staff. Take the arms out wide into this variation on Krishna. Arms up, back to staff. Arms back, warrior 3. Arms up, back to staff. And we're going to go for dancer, but just a soft dancer. So keep your right arm up and scoop your foot up to your bum with your left. And just press your chest forward and don't worry about the foot. Don't have to kick back today. And come back to center, back to staff. And your version of tree, pick the easiest version of tree that you can. Bring your hands to your heart. You come out of tree as soon as you feel like you've had it. So you can have a couple of breaths if you love it here, or you can just come straight out. So I'm going to have 2 more breaths. But my hips have strengthened up a lot since I've been doing more balancing. So when you're ready, you can release. Wiggle if you need to. Otherwise, just center yourself on your feet. And we're coming to the left. So take the arms up first, center of gravity lifts. Pick up the right knee, staff. Out wide. Krishna, yeah, this is on my wobbly side. Inhale to center, staff. Exhale back for tree. Warrior three. Inhale up. Staff. Dancer. Take a moment to arrange yourself into dancer. Scoop up your right foot towards your bum. Keep your left arm lifted and lift your heart. So there's a bend in your back, but you're not tipping forward. Gaze forward. Back to staff. And then tree pose, your variation, the easiest one for you. So we don't mess around with tree pose being hard when it's a balancing flow, and it's quite a tricky balancing flow. Okay. Release. Bring both feet back down. I'm just gonna walk a little bit to the front of the mat. Let's have a little bit of just some work on both feet. So inhale, softly circle the arms up. Reach for the ceiling. You can look up. We're not going to lift our feet. Exhale, soft forward fold. Really soften into the knees so you get a really nice bend in your back, a nice rounding feeling in your lower back and long through the upper back. Down here, just have a moment in ragdoll so you can take opposite elbow and opposite hand. Roll your arms around in circles. Let your shoulders release so the neck dangles and the shoulders are relaxing. I am not going to sway from side to side because it always makes me feel seasick. But if you want to sway from side to side, please do. Nice. Dangling. When you're ready, release fingers to the ground. Bend your knees as much as you need. Inhale into halfway lift. Nice and long in the spine. Don't crank your neck back to look forward. You can just keep looking down. Exhale, pull your belly in, release from the hips and standing forward fold. And just take a moment in standing forward fold. Stretch your legs out. They don't have to be straight, but you should be able to feel the length of the backs of the legs. If you breathe out and pull your belly in, it will help with your sensation in your forward fold, or you can do it manually. Create a little tuck if you want to. Lovely. Soften your knees. Make sure your fingers are on the ground or near the ground, or hands flat ideally, and then step your right foot back as far as it will go, and just make sure that you're well planted into that right ball of the foot. Left knee's bent, and let's lower down the right knee. Flatten out the foot if you can. We're going to inhale, take the arms up. You can come up as high as you want. Exhale to bring the hands down. Right hand stays on the floor. Left arm opens up into a twist. So you're twisting towards your front knee. Lovely. Exhale, left hand down. And tuck your back toes. Just lift the knee for a moment. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. You can bring your knees straight back down if you don't want to be in dog today. Let's pedal out the legs. If you don't want to be in dog today, for this little sequence, can you go for melting heart instead, or child's pose? Stretch out your hips and legs that way. A little pedal. Let's bring the knees down. Flatten out the feet, shoulders over wrists, elbows tuck in as you lower to the ground. Keep your hands under your shoulders. Inhale into a little small cobra. Press your pelvis and your lower belly into the ground and gaze forward. Exhale down. Tuck the toes, keep your knees down. Lift up, so you're on your hands and knees, but forward. And you can either lift a downward facing dog or walk your hands back. We're going to make our way to a standing forward fold either through a squat or through downward facing dog, depending on how your knees are feeling today. So downward facing dog and walk forward if your knees are sore. If you're up for a squat, just walk your hands back, tip into your little crouch here. If you're in a crouch or if you're in dog, pause to stretch if you wish to. And so if you're in your crouch, you're going to walk your hands back forward into dog. So lengthen out the legs as you walk your hands forward. We're going to meet anybody who didn't do their squat in dog. Walk the feet towards the hands, lightly, soft forward fold. When you're ready, soften the knees and inhale to circle the arms up, reach for the ceiling. Weave your fingers together at the top. You don't have to look up, you can gaze forward. Turn the palms up, swaying palm, exhale to the right. Inhale up, exhale to the left. So we're going to do that again. Please leave out anything that is bad for your body today. Let's bring the hands down by the sides again, mountain pose. I'm just going to take this cardigan off because it's good for staying warm. It's not good for being upside down. Right. Mountain pose. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, very soft forward fold. Come to ragdoll. Weave your fingers, make your cradle with your arms. Dangle your head. Roll the arms around in circles. Relax the shoulders. So we're just going to put in these little release postures. Soften into the shoulders and the spine. Take your side to side sway if you wish to. You know I'm not doing it. When you're ready, release your arms and come to your halfway lift. Any variation of halfway lift, hands to shins, fingers to the floor, it's fine. Exhale, soften down into your standing forward fold. Take a moment to appreciate the stretch here. And you just work with your breath at the pace that it goes. So I'm going to have another breath here because I like a standing forward fold. Next step is lunge. So soften the knees, make sure your fingers are on the ground. We're going to step the left foot back as far as it'll go. Press into the ball of the foot and reach the heel away. Stretch through that back leg. Right knee is over the ankle. Just stay in runner's lunge for a beat. And then if you want to, you don't have to, you can lower down your left knee and either leave that toe tucked or flatten it out. Inhale to reach up. Crescent moon. Exhale, fingers down. Left hand stays on the floor. On your next inhale, open up into your twist. Right arm goes up to the ceiling. Exhale, right hand down. Tuck the back toes for a beat. Lift the knee. Step back to your downward dog or all fours, child's pose or melting heart. If you like down dog, you can spend more time here. It's really your choice with downward facing dog. If you don't like it, we are coming to our fronts. So you can make your way to your front if you'd rather be there and start your back bend. Otherwise, bring the knees down, forward and down, heels lifted. Flatten out your feet and start to lower your whole body down and forward. Elbows tucked in. Inhale, mini cobra. I think we'll have 2 more back bends here. So mini cobra first. Exhale down, and then you can have 2 more back bends of your choice. I'm going to do 2 more cobras. I'm going to keep them soft. But if you want to go for seal, if you would rather just stay in Sphinx and hang out there, or if you want upward facing dog, you can do that. We're not really warm enough, but if you like upward facing dog, it won't matter. Last one. Shoulders back, chest lifting. Exhale down. Tuck the toes. Knees down, lift the upper body. You can roll it up if you're tired. Sit back on the heels, stretch your arms forward. And just let your chest sink towards the ground. If you can, keep your toes tucked. If it doesn't feel good, you can untuck them for a full child's pose. Otherwise, we're in active child's pose here. I'm going to wiggle my arms together. Palms meet, cross thumbs, take thumbs to back of neck. I want to stretch out my arms. It's possible that my arms are tired because I did a hardcore one-to-one vinyasa class yesterday. So followed by our middle premium class yesterday. So that might be it for me, but Just have a good stretch. Lovely. When you're ready, release the hands. Come to all fours if you're able. We're not going to be here for ages. Just want to do the side stretch here. So extend your right leg out behind you and take it across to the left, toes on the floor, heel pressing away. If you don't like this, then you can stay in child's pose with wide legs. Rotate your upper body over to the left so that you're looking at your toes behind you that have stretched across. I can't find any other side stretch that gets into my hip quite as well as this one does. This is why I like to do it. So if you don't like it, please leave it out. And come back to center and just switch sides with control. So rearrange yourself, take your left leg back, nice and long, across the right. Press those toes into the ground and then twist your upper body around so your chest is rotating over to the right. Hands are pressing into the ground. You can bring your arms down. If it's too much on your wrists, you can absolutely come down to forearms for this. That feels quite nice, I have to say. Lovely. And let's come back to center. We're going to make our way towards seated. Another option for the squat for those who like it. If you don't, then just make your way to cross legs and we'll meet you there. So if you're squatting, come back to your squat again. Take your feet out wide this time. Have a moment in garland pose and we're just going to sit. And you can balance your back against the wall if you need to. Stick your elbows on the insides of your knees, palms together, and press the knees out wide. We're going to do 3 pulses. So as you inhale, bring your tips of your fingers up towards your chin and the knees come together. And then as you exhale, push the knees out, press the elbows in. So it's just a few of those. It's very strengthening and it helps the hips become supple, but no pain for this. Last one. Awesome. Release, plonk your bum on the floor. In a technical movement, plonking, it's a new one. So come to your version of cross legs. It can be diamond or butterfly if you prefer. Any variation, I'm going to sit on a cushion because all seated work is better on a cushion, isn't it? Let's put hands on knees. I'm enjoying rediscovering this little circular movement. So as long as it's comfortable, and you can do this with legs out wide if you like that feeling, just start to circle forward with your upper body and circle back. For those who like the deep core work, which I'm not doing today, you can pull your belly in firmly as you roll back. To be honest, when you do this work, you connect with your core regardless. So it just depends on how much you want to feel it. What I want today is that feeling of massaging out my hips and lower back. Hormonal center of the body, isn't it? So I'm just enjoying that feeling of releasing tension. So for the next couple of rounds in this direction, can you notice what your dominant direction is? For some reason, I always go anti-clockwise first. When you finish the next round and come back towards center, can you switch how you've crossed your legs and go back in the opposite direction? So I always go anti-clockwise first, so I'm going to go clockwise this time. Does make a difference, especially with the switch of the legs. So I'm just going to roll. So at this point, if you're feeling quite uncomfortable sitting on the floor and you wish that you had a cushion or something like that, then get it, because we're going to do a little bit more seated, not loads and loads, but enough that you will really feel annoyed not having some kind of cushioning. I'm going to do 3 more circles. If you've had enough, you can stop. Okay. So we're going to have seated cat-cow. If you prefer it in cross legs, then you can stay in cross legs. I want to do it with knees forward because we're going to do some twists with the knees forward. So it's your choice how you want to do it. Hands under the thighs, and no cushion for cat-cow for me anyway. Exhale to round, tip back. I like to let my toes lift when I do this so I can get really good stretch into my back. Inhale to open up. And when I'm opening up into cow pose, I'm really pressing my tailbone back because I want to get the full range. We're not going to do hands and knees cat-cow. So if you would prefer to do this on hands and knees, please do feel free. Always nice to see people taking initiative. And as with everything in the class today, I know there's 3 of us who are probably wanting to take it easy, but if you're wanting to power in, then you know how to do it. You know how to power in. You just really pull in a lot more. You use your abdomen a lot more. You use your muscles. Lovely. Just one more. And then when you've had your last one, you can come to neutral and don't panic because we're not doing boat pose today. Take the legs out wider. So we're going to do some twists. If you have a different version of twisting that you prefer, then please do. Palms together at center, and let's bring them to the inside of your right leg. And then start to draw your left arm up your right arm all the way across and open up into your twist. So this is your first stop and you can stay here. This is a strong twist on its own. Can you not hoik your head back to look at your thumb unless your neck is very, very comfortable there? Just turn to the left. If you're feeling quite limber and all right, you can pull your belly in softly and slide your right hand down the leg and maybe take hold of your big toe. And if you're feeling quite happy there, you can perhaps even wrap your arm around your waist and just rotate your chest, which will intensify everything a lot. So I'm not going to do that because it's not warm enough. It's not late enough in the day. I'm not warm enough and my back doesn't feel stable for it, but you can if you want. The higher up your arm is, the nicer this twist will feel. So you've got a diagonal line from fingers, right fingers to left fingers. One more breath. And if you've gone all the way down to your toes, first of all, untuck your ungrasp your toes and come up high. Then rotate back to center and bring your hands together at center. Palms together, forward. Both sets of palms go to the inside of the left leg. We just reconstruct on the other side. Ravel yourself into your twist or unravel yourself into your twist, depending on how you see it. First, be in this twist for a beat. Check in, how you feeling? If you want to, you can, if you've got the space, you can slide your hands down and hook your peace fingers around your big toe on the left. Still gazing up, don't need to look at my foot to do this. And then you can try it, but see if you can bind your right arm around your waist, palm facing back, rotate your chest to the right. You see, for me on this side, this feels a lot better. I'm going to give it a breath and see. No, I don't like it. It still feels fine, but it just feels a bit compressed. So arm can go up, gazing to the ceiling. Nice. And as before, unravel yourself in order. So if you've hooked your toe, first come up high, then bring your arm back down, then bring your fingers in front of you and bring the soles of the feet together. Make a big diamond. Have your hands resting on your shins and sit tall in your spine. Doesn't matter if you're on a cushion, you can stay on a cushion, you can have cushions under your knees if it feels better for you. We're going to round, so we're going to fold forward from the hips and then we're going to round over into, I forget, diamond pose. I think they call it butterfly in yin. So just roll all the way forward. Once you've gone as far as you can, round your spine, relax your shoulders, bow your head. You can hug your toes if they're cold. If you have come all the way forward and you're feeling really sort of neat and tidy and comfortably folded, you can slide your hands flat on the floor underneath your shins into, I think it's called turtle tortoise or something like that.
There's a tighter variation of this where you bring your feet right up towards your groin. So the yin version is with a big diamond. If you want to make this more intense, you can bring your feet closer to your body. It's much deeper, it's much more intense. It might zap you if you're tired. Relax your head, just check the back of your neck isn't hoiking at all, shoulders drawing back. Try not to let your shoulders pull up towards your ears. That's your main effort. Lovely. Have one more full breath. It can be out through the mouth if you feel like you're starting to wind down. These closing postures tend to result in a feeling of winding down, which we are, of course. When you're ready on an inhale, start to gently lift your gaze. Slide your hands out from under if that's where you've been. Come back to seated, bring the knees together. Remove your cushion from behind you and just roll yourself back onto your back. So I don't want to be doing this forwards. So long on your mat, roll back all the way down. Once you're all the way down, bring your knees in, have a little roll or circles from side to side, whatever feels good on your back. So, you know, a couple of intense twists and side bending, a lot of standing work, but hopefully you've been able to moderate it, take it quite softly. Loads of good balancing. Let's ground a little bit. As usual on a Tuesday, I don't want to leave people in with a deep, restful Shavasana. I want you to feel reasonably limber as you go into your week. So in a sort of slightly upside down move, we're going to bring the feet to the floor. We'll have pelvic curls. So feet, I don't mind really where your feet are as long as everything is stable and there's no weird symmetry in your body. So the spine wants to feel long. Hands go wherever they're comfortable. Feet lined up with hip joints, ideally, knees lined up with hip joints, and don't let them flop around. They can go forward and backwards, but not side to side. And just work with your own breath as you do your pelvic curl. So remember, we're rolling, rocking and rolling on that curve at the back of the hips, the outward curve. So it's from the top of your bum all the way up to the base of your lumbar region, which is a deep curve in your back. As you press into your feet and roll back and forward, keeping it all really comfortable, you should feel how your lumbar arch, a deep arch in your back at the bottom of the back, lifts and lowers. There's a sense of when your tailbone points up, your lumbar region flattens towards the ground. As your tailbone points down, your lumbar region lifts high. And so if you want to slow it down and intensify it, so it's like doing cat-cow, you can really slow it down. And if you're going to do that, I really recommend, just work with the breath, experiment with the breath. Sometimes it's nice to inhale to peel up and exhale to peel down, but actually anatomically, it makes more sense to exhale as you peel up because you create space in your abdomen for that. And so when you exhale, your belly goes down. So there's more room for the movement. So this is feeling really nice for me, this little pelvic curl. I'm going to do 3 rounds of dynamic bridge. If you'd like to hold your bridge, please feel free to do so. I just want to warm my spine and get it moving so that the tissues feel good. So I'm going to try and make this movement very heavy so that the whole of my back feels really well massaged. So I'm just pressing into the feet and then rolling up the spine, but I'm really thinking about the whole width of my back from waist to waist, all the way up from shoulder to shoulder. And then as heavily as I can, spreading out my shoulders, spreading out my waist, spreading out my upper back, and getting that feeling of the ground pressing into the whole of my back. So that, you know, if you're peeling up and peeling down, your spine is going to get a good ripple regardless, especially with the experience that you've got. Think about those strong muscles and tissues from the very tops of your shoulders all the way down to the very base of your back. So I was going to do 3. I'm on 3. I fancy just 1 more, and I'm not holding, but as I say, you're welcome to hold if you wish.
all the way up and then all the way down. From here, I'm going to go for wipers. I haven't done reclining wipers for literally weeks. Arms go out wide, legs go out wide. If you don't like wipers, or if they don't do anything for you, you can have any twist of your choice and hold it. So wipers, you know how to do it on your exhale. I'm going to go with the breath today. Exhale to lower the knees over to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the other side. So just work with the breath, especially if you've been not sleeping well, if you've been having stress, you're having anxiety. Sometimes even if it doesn't feel like what you want to do, working with the breath is the thing that will calm everything down, calms the nervous system. So breathing exercises are the most direct route to nervous system regulation. So not too deep and not too shallow. So take that information away. Really, really deep, long breaths can actually send you into a total panic attack. It's finding that middle ground, natural breaths. Usually a count of 5, in for 5, out for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay. So another thing I never do is hold my wipers. I'm going to hold today. It's been a really long time since I've held wipers. I'm going to hold, take my knees over to the right. I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. Now, if you want to do this with me, you can stay here. I'm just going to stay exactly as I am and I'm going to focus on relaxing my hips and thighs. If you like to deepen this, you can bring your bottom foot onto your top thigh. So if your right foot onto top thigh, not the knee, the thigh, or around the knee somewhere, but not on the knee. But I find that doesn't really do anything for me. Some people like it, but I find it puts too much strain into my knees. Why am I doing it? Because I need to let go of my hips, thighs, and lower back. Let's smooth out the breath. Stay as long as you like. I'm ready to come back to center myself. I've had about 5 actually, 5 normal breaths, probably 3 deep ones. And then over to the left. And so 5 normal breaths or 3 deep ones. I'm doing normal breaths today. Really nice. Again, stay longer if you want. We'll do hip compressions next. So knees up. We'll do both the knees at the same time. If you prefer to do alternate knees, then feel free. I'm going to bring the hands behind the thighs and squeeze both sets of knees in, up and in towards the armpits. And while I'm here, my hands behind my thighs, so my lower legs are free. I'm going to have some ankle circles, really slow, nice ankle circles. You can feel the squeezing in my hips. I don't want to go too deep because, again, you know, trying to moderate, I am regulating. So if you want to go really deep into the hips, then you're very welcome to, but I am not. And let's bring, when you're ready, knees together. Hands just loosely woven around the knees. And as you exhale, round your back, bring your forehead and your knees towards each other. You don't have to do any abdominal work here. It's just a curl. Inhale up. Inhale your head down. Let your tailbone roll down. Exhale, squeeze forehead and knees together. This is nice on the lower back when you leave the abdomen out of it. If it doesn't feel good, you can leave it. Just going to do one more. Squeeze. Lower down. And then I'm going to gently rock the legs back and forward, back into a seated position, any seated position. I'm going to cross my legs. We've got 3 minutes. I'm going to do just a few more spinal movements and then some breath synchronized movements to finish. So lightly, go lightly. So stay tall. Inhale, gently circle the arms up so the palms are facing each other, elbows are soft. And just softly take it over to the right. So I'm keeping my elbows soft, everything soft. Inhale up, back to center. At your own pace, it's over to the left next. Inhale softly to center. This time we're going to take our standard twist. So just rotate your whole body round. Right arm to left thigh or the other way. Left arm behind. Chest goes round, and if your neck is feeling softer now, you can turn. When you're ready on your inhale, back up to center. Soft, soft, soft. And exhale, float over to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale, fingertips on the floor just behind you. Roll the shoulders back, fingertips are pointing back. Lift your heart, lift your chin. Crown of the head feels tall. Deep breath in. And as you exhale through the mouth, if you can, soften back into your seat. Keep your spine tall. Hands come to the heart. Deep breath in. Just one round. Exhale, circle the arms out wide. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. 11 o'clock on the dot. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. We did a lot, but I didn't feel too intense. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you when I see you.